What's up, welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Kiss of Life's fourth EP, 224. Kiss of Life, one of the rapidly rising K-pop groups in recent memory. By my count, they had the second best year in the genre last year behind aespa. Great success. I actually saw them live, which I enjoyed quite a bit last fall. They also have gotten, I think, a lot of virality for a very sexual forward image and energy. Also finding all that success on S2 Entertainment, a smaller label, which is always great to see. However, all of that momentum and goodwill has seemingly screeched to a halt following an ill-begotten live stream a few weeks ago where the group was very clearly and seemingly obliviously playing into Black and Latino stereotypes and prejudices. And not that controversy, particularly racial controversy, is new in the K-pop industry. It certainly isn't, whether you're talking about musical influences or styling choices, things like that. Not to rehash any of that. However, Belle and Julie of Kiss of Life are both American. They should be a lot more aware of these sensitivities. There really was no excuse for this sort of thing in 2025, and it left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth to the point that Kiss of Life dropped out of KCON LA, which is very notable. The May 7th single, Live, Laugh, Love, came and went, got very little traction, and talk about a self-own, to say the least, not to mention a slap in the face to many of their fans across the world. Now the question remains, can Kiss of Life bounce back? Will they move forward from this? And obviously there's going to be attention on their music, but I think the question is if they'll be able to reach the old heights again. And what that'll really come down to, whether it's right or wrong, what that'll really come down to, more so than whether they really reckon with the problems in a more satisfying manner than what they've said before, which has been very insignificant. Ultimately, what will determine this is how strong the music that follows is. People are a lot more forgiving when they're liking the output. Kiss of Life's fourth EP, 224, is a largely mid-tempo R&B record. I was not expecting this level of vibe shift, and you could say it's more mature music, I suppose, but I find it less interesting than their past albums, to the point where I'm not hearing an Igloo or a Midas Touch on 224. I don't think there's a big hit on here. I think my favorite song, Slide, stands out because it has a lot of the Kiss of Life personality and musical touches and trademarks. Those trademarks are most noticeable on that song. A lot of the other songs, though, come across a lot more anonymous vocally, where the Kiss of Life, personality and those tics just doesn't really come through. Like the lead single, Lips, Hips, Kiss, I don't really hear anything that makes that sound like a Kiss of Life song. I think that's pretty boilerplate overall. So this is definitely a project to me that I don't know if it's going to do a whole lot to really change the mood around this group. And I think the pressure will return to Kiss of Life to really reckon with the controversy in a meaningful way, because they're not just going to be able to drop bangers and get out of it that way, it seems, because I'm not hearing that on 224. Lips, Hips, Kiss, I like the DJ scratching choice. I think the hook is just fine overall, just kind of like a basic R&B song. It feels a little empty to me overall. I like the harmonizing, though, at the last minute from the group. Tell Me, I think that one has very silky drums, very smooth once again. But again, that's what I'm hearing with this. I'm hearing smooth. And I don't know if I necessarily associated Kiss of Life with smooth to this point. I expected pop and personality, right? You think of all the virality around the group in the past, year plus, particularly around Natty and Julie, right? I feel like Natty's vocals are hard to pick out sometimes on this project. Julie still stands out to me overall in 224, just because I think her voice is the most unique of the four compared to the others, and also her rapping, of course, is very easy to notice. But I feel like Belle and Natty and Haniel, like they feel so interchangeable vocally on this project. I think K-Bye, also one of the highlights, I guess you could say. Hip-hop song. Julie's flow is good once again. I like her inflection on the track, and the chorus is the most memorable aspect of the song. Painting, I think this one's pretty solid, but also unmemorable. Slide, though, as I said, my favorite song. It definitely has the catchiest lyrics. I think the Kiss of Life personality is really great in that first verse. The wait right here, something's in my drink, got me feeling weird. Like vocal lines I think are great. That especially because it's like a back and forth. Like I want to hear more of that type of energy on their music, and that was a great example of it. Beats also about as up-tempo as you get on all this project, which again is a lot more subdued overall. Heart of Gold, it's a slower song. I think the vocals aren't bad, honestly. I have another Julia rap verse here, but the beat is just a bit too plain for me. I think this song probably could have been a lot better. And then Think Twice has a kind of an acoustic start to it before picking back up. One thing that stood out to me overall was Natty has 2 writing credits on this. Julie has 1. Belle has none, though, and Belle was always talked about as the songwriter of the group, the one who has the most songwriting experience. I was surprised to not see her name in any of the credits. So yeah, Kiss of Life 224, I'd say overall it's underwhelming to me given the really high bar they had set for themselves musically from 2024 and even their debut project in 2023 as well. I think this is my least favorite of all those EPs to this point. I think that's pretty obvious. And what's next for that group? Again, it remains to be seen. Obviously, they just toured a ton last year, so I don't expect them to go back on tour right away necessarily. But I'll be curious to what degree they promote this music. Again, dropping out of KCON LA was certainly a big choice. What's to come? Will there be another EP in the fall sometime, and they'll just try and get going back into the swing of things? Will there be a more dedicated grappling with all the controversy? I'm not sure. Let me know, though. How are you feeling about Kiss of Life? Are you still looking forward to the music? Did this music do it for you? Didn't really do it for me. Let me know. And for more music reviews, more K-pop reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.